Could there be anything more dangerous than a Kender with a time-traveling device? Talk about wanderlust on steroids. Welcome to another DragonLance Saga episode. My name is Adam, and today we're going to discuss the device of time journeying. I'd like to take a moment and thank my collaborator patrons, the Heroes of the Lance, and invite you to consider becoming a patron or member of this channel by visiting the links in the description below. You can even pick up DragonLance gaming materials using my affiliate link. I am referencing the sourcebooks DragonLance Adventures, Legends of the Twins, and The Age of Mortals, including the Legends and War of Souls trilogies of novels for this information. If I miss anything or misspeak, please leave a comment below. It is impossible to discuss the device of time journeying without talking about the river of time, but I'm going to do my best to focus on the artifact, how it was used, and how it may be used in the upcoming novel Dragons of Deceit. The device of time journeying first appeared in the novel Time of the Twins. The setup is as follows. Raistlin Majere is being spied on by his apprentice Dalamar the Dark. Raistlin tells Dalamar that he's traveling back in time to destroy Fistandantilus and enter the portal to the Abyss to challenge the Queen of Darkness. In order to prevent this, Par-Salien sends Caramon back in time in hopes that he will stop his twin. Par-Salien gives him the device of time journeying and instructs him in its use to get back to his correct time. When Par-Salien sends Caramon back, Tasslehoff jumps in as a mouse transformed by a magic ring. Par-Salien freaks out for one very important reason. Time travel is only supposed to work with the races the gods created on Krynn: Elves, Ogres, and Humans. The races created from the Greystone were aberrant and born out of chaos. If chaos enters the river of time, there is no telling what could happen. This fear is echoed in the past when Raistlin discovers Taz and is worried that he will undo everything he is planning simply by existing in this time. He tells Taz how to use the device incorrectly with the intention of disassembling it, which Taz did. The next thing Taz knew, Raistlin, Caramon, and Krynn were traveling through time, and he was stuck as the cataclysm hit Istar. He awoke in the Abyss, and after visiting the Queen of Darkness, she allowed Nimsh to show up and repair the device so he and Taz can escape the Abyss, with the intention of killing off Raistlin as Fistandantilus was killed. This is a pivotal moment for the device, as it began with the ability to teleport a single person with its use and ended up being able to teleport multiple people. Nimsh is known as the only gnome to successfully tinker. This isn't the only time Takesis uses a gnome to repair the device, but it isn't time for that story yet. You see, the River of Time is not able to be changed by the machinations of a single individual. This is a restriction imposed by the High God himself. It may have ripples momentarily affect it, but it will always return to its natural flow. That is, until a little chaos is added in the form of an aberrant Greystone race of a Kender in Tasslehoff Burfoot. His presence in the past and Raistlin Majere's sheer force of will combined to alter the flow of the River of Time. But more on that in a minute. The device of time journeying is tied to its user, with many special geese cast upon it as safety measures. The first is a powerful antipathy spell that repulses those who attempt to take it. The second, if successfully stolen or lost, the device will always return to its owner no matter what, in the most inconspicuous of ways. The device of time journeying looks like a jeweled scepter, which can be folded into a nondescript-looking pendant. There are verbal and semantic gestures required to activate the scepter. You must recite the first verse, "Thy time is thy own," and simultaneously hold the pendant in your hands, turning the face toward you. The next phrase, "Though across it you travel," is spoken, and you move the faceplate from the right to the left. Next you recite, "Its expanses you see," and the backplate will drop, forming two spheres connected by rods. Then you say, "Whirling across forever," and twist the top clockwise, which drops a chain down. "Obstruct not its flow," is recited, reminding you to keep the chain clear of the mechanism. You then grasp both spheres at opposite ends and say, "Grasp firmly the end and beginning." Then turn the spheres forward, saying, "Turn them forward upon themselves." Next, speak, "All that is loose shall be secure." And the chain will wind itself into the body. You hold the device over your head and chant the final verse, "Destiny be over your own head," while visualizing the time and place you wish to travel. It is important to note, this is not always accurate. At times, you'll end up where you want to go, but not when, though sometimes it does seem to work as anticipated. Back to its active history. When Raistlin opens the portal to the Abyss with Crysania, while Tasslehoff and Caramon activate the device of time journeying to return to their own time, the magical blast erupted as it did in Fistandantilus' time, but Raistlin was able to keep the portal open and pass through. When Caramon and Taz arrive in Solace, they arrive at the right place, but again, not the right time. They arrived in the future and witnessed a world ravaged by the war between Raistlin and the gods. Raistlin had defeated the gods when Caramon and Taz traveled back to the portal opening, and Caramon enters to find a blind and defeated Crysania near death. And finally, Raistlin leading the Dark Queen into Krynn. Raistlin sacrificed himself and closed the portal, and the device of time journeying was delivered to Dalamar the Dark for safekeeping. Taz, fearing he would die before Caramon, wanted to speak at his funeral, and Fizban agreed that that was a good idea, so he gifted him the device of time journeying. Again, Taz arrived at the right place, but too late for his friend's funeral, so he used the device to return. Taz found himself in Palanthas and met Usha, and they ended up in the Tower of High Sorcery in Palanthas, where Taz helped Palin enter the portal to the Abyss, and they overheard Raistlin and the gods discussing chaos returning from the Greystone. The Summer of Chaos was in full swing, and as Taz was being crushed under Chaos's foot, he remembered that he'd never spoken at Caramon's funeral, and realized that this was his last chance to do just that. He traveled forward in time, but this time, Takesis has stolen Krynn away, creating a brand new river of time. Taz, Palin, and Conundrum, the gnome, would travel with the device of time journeying all through the War of Souls. Palin would break it, and Conundrum, like Nimsh before him, would fix it by will of Takesis, and ironically, she would be defeated in part by Taz using it throughout the war. Ultimately, Raistlin's spirit would hear Taz traveling through time, and the gods allowed him to use Taz to stitch up the River of Time with the device. Ultimately, Taz decided he should return to his own time, and when he did, the device of time journeying would be lost to, well, time. That is, until the lawsuit between Margaret Weiss, Tracy Hickman, and Wizards of the Coast was settled. Now, we're going to see it reappear, back in time with Tasslehoff Burfoot after the War of the Lands, when a young woman named Destina Rosethorn appears looking for it to prevent her father's death. This act ultimately sets into motion a chain of events more deadly than she's ever anticipated, one that could change not only her personal history, but the fate of the entire world, allowing a previously defeated evil to once again gain ascendancy. Will the Destinies trilogy see the end of the device of time journeying? And how will its use affect the existing River of Time? Only time will tell. And that is all I have to say about the device of time journeying. Do you think it's a MacGuffin used too frequently to steer the course of the novels? Do you think the River of Time is still alterable with the Chaos races using it? And finally, have you ever used it in your own game? Leave a comment below. I'm able to create these weekly videos because of your attention and support. If you're not already a patron or member of this YouTube channel, I'd like to invite you to consider becoming one. If you would like to pick up any edition of Dragonlance gaming materials, feel free to use my affiliate link in the description. This channel is all about celebrating the wonderful world of the Dragonlance Saga, and I hope you'll join me in the celebration. Thank you for watching. This has been Adam with Dragonlance Saga, and until next time, remember, time is a great flowing river, vaster and wider than any river we know. Throw a pebble into the rushing water. Does the water suddenly stop? Does it begin to flow backward? Does it turn its course and flow another direction? Of course not. The pebble created a few ripples on the surface, perhaps, but it sinks. The river flows onward, as it has ever done.